We thought Gamer Legion may have been the underdogs, but turns out they had a ferocious bite, and the jaws firmly clamped shut over 9Z. We bid farewell to that home ground advantage that we were talking about. A lightning-fast first half match, 14-1 for the side of Gamer Legion. It was just too little too late for 9Z to make that comeback work on the T side.
That first half was a reality check, Freya. It was a reality check for us, for the audience, for everybody. We can hype up the crowd, we can talk about the support, and of course 9Z had a tremendous support from the crowd throughout this game. But there is a reality when it comes to Counter-Strike. If you play worse than your opponent, you're about to lose. The crowd won't save you, not if you're 14-1 down, and Gamer Legion, they handled this first game perfectly.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the crowd did its job, right? They were shouting all the time.
They tried.
Yeah, they did their absolute best. At some point, even I think the 0-0 Nation went on stage, and then there were a little bit of like shouting for them and stuff like that. But throughout the whole game, like they're shouting for them, and yeah, it's very underwhelming performance from 9Z, right? Like, and surprisingly, like, you know, just the fact that Gamer Legion was able to pull up this performance on the first game at the major against the crowd and stuff like that, just very impressive in general, yeah.
Yeah, because we were talking about the fact that, you know, there's a lot of newbies from the side of Gamer Legion coming into this as well. I want to bring up our Air Force Aim High head-to-head as well, because we're talking about the in-game leaders on both sides of the equation. Shui having a massive amount of impact here, Machu.
Yeah, Shui was fantastic. And I want to even go as far as saying, I don't care about these numbers. He might only have had 14 kills, but the impact of those and the timing of those were so key. You go back, you look at the first few rounds, we're talking the first gun rounds, he's the one stepping up and making the plays, making the difference. Couple of open kills in Banana, couple of open kills towards mid. When your team needs to find the footage, needs to find the momentum, he was the one providing it. And on top of that, of course, cherry on top, beautifully called on the T side. He found the gambles, he found the gaps. Shui was my MVP as far as this game goes, because as a leader, clean sheet.
Yeah, for sure. I think that it's even more impressive the fact that he's an IGL, right? As an IGL, playing your first game at the major and stuff like that, and having to call a great T side, and he was able to not only pull up a good performance, but also call really well on the T side. Like 9Z had no answer to anything they did, basically. Like it was just, yeah, all over it.
He didn't even need his sniper to step
Exactly.
up. We see Akor's number right here.
Yeah.
He was relatively quiet. Just to touch on Shui, right? It's a profile that we have to build for the audience as well. He was an academy player in the Mouse NXT session, and he wasn't really picked up to make it to the next level by his own org, right? He's had other players, the JDC, the Tawazis of the world, Jerson as well, kind of take his spot and go into the Mouse lineup. And now here he is with Gamer Legion as an IGL, a former academy player, now on the stage of the major.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. The fact that that's his first game in front of the crowd here at the major as well, no less. A huge feat for Gamer Legion to get that 1-0. I do want to spin it back to the point about Akor, though, because Peacemaker, you were bringing up the point that, you know, we would look to him at the RMR as being a huge difference maker for Gamer Legion. I guess this kind of spells good things for the team going forward, that they don't even need what we were arguably saying is their star player to be showing up to win these games dominantly.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the fact that they played Inferno, right, and they sat at T side, it's kind of rough for Alper sometimes on the T side of Inferno, you know, there's not many peaks you can go for and stuff like that, so I guess they were so good strategically speaking, like in terms of like, you know, the way they control Banana, the way they took middle, and they're trading off each other really well, so, you know, it basically wasn't even needed. Like, Akor was just there as a support Alper, doing his thing, you know, he didn't play bad at all, it was just like, he didn't have to do anything, like his teammates were just stepping up and doing everything for him.
In terms of 9Z and kind of perhaps the issues you saw, maybe teething issues, getting used to this new environment, the new atmosphere, playing in front of the crowd as well for the first stage, what would you kind of put down as maybe the biggest issue for them to get that momentum going early on?
I think they got really timid and shy at the very beginning of the game. They tried to take a couple of duels, they got shut down, and then they reverted into a very passive mode that they couldn't handle. They didn't know how to play the passive game. But I want to put a spin on this story, because if you're a Brazilian representative, South American representative, the thing that you fear the most is go on stage and disappoint people and get smacked. Well, guess what? It happened. That is it. You've been on the stage, you've had everybody behind you, and you got absolutely rolled. And life goes on. And you can show up tomorrow and you can play a better Counter-Strike. So kind of face your nightmare. This is it. You've lived through the worst possible first experience on the stage. You've let everybody down. But life goes on. And you're not afraid of that anymore. You show up tomorrow and you say, you know what? We can do it. It happened. That's fine. So I hope they can put a spin on this and they can bounce back.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good point, I guess, for the mentality going forward, maybe to those round 2 matchups as well. Peacemaker, if you're in that situation, obviously being coached a hell of a lot of teams here, what would you be thinking going forward into that second round of matchups then, if you are 9Z? Where are you looking at making those improvements going forward?
I think, first of all, like they really have to watch this game and see what went wrong, right? I think they had some issues with the Banana banana control at CT. They tried different approaches and tried to play passive. Didn't feel comfortable for them at all. I mean, they got punished when they tried to go aggressive and all that kind of stuff. So I think the first thing they should do is definitely watch that game. And, you know, having played Inferno, which is used to be a comfortable map for them, and then getting stumped like this in your first match at the major, that could be challenging for them to, you know, mentally reset and understand, like, okay, guys, what happened? Like, are we bad on the map? Or they played great, we didn't maybe do the things we're supposed to do, we didn't play out of our comfortable zone and stuff like that. I think it's very important to understand what happened in this game. Don't overthink it, because like if they go on the route of like, oh, let's not play Inferno again, then suddenly they are, you know, with no map pool, like what we're going to play. Like we're going to basically start banning one of our best maps just because we lost this game.
Yeah.
And that's where I join him, actually. I don't believe that 9Z have a bad Inferno. I don't think that's what happened. I think they showed us the worst that they could on that map. And it's a map they could still replay in the tournament with a different kind of mindset, a different kind of mentality going into this. We talked about being too passive, that's one problem. Too individualistic as well. You know, when you see the scoreline just piling up against you, you're trying to take one-for-one duels. There was no synergy, not playing off of each other. But I don't think it's got nothing to do with the map. It's a problem of how you approach the game. Could have been the case on Dust 2 or Mirage or Overpass. Don't overthink it. Just play better Counter-Strike. Inferno was not the reason here.
Well, despite unfortunately losing their first game here on stage at the IEM Rio Major, we do have the coach with James Banks for a few words after that series.
9Z were unable to take down Game Legion. I've got Zach with me here to start off with. Now, opening game, right, that crowd certainly on your side, but did you feel like there was a change in your players, some nervousness? What was going on in that game?
100%. I felt that they were nervous and anxious to play. I think anxious is good, but it can also be very bad for you. I think we lost the pistol round, and that cost us much more of the calmness we had, which was very little. So I think for the first match we were very nervous, but I think the second one was going to be better.
And do you think that this whole thing's a good experience? Because one thing we noticed, right, you got the one round on the first half, you're down obviously massively at that point, but the whole crowd erupts, it looks good. But then even I'm looking at the camera faces of your players, and that you start to think, okay, they're unsure of their decision making. What did you say to them during the first half after you had that break?
Well, I said that we hadn't been there before many times. Like that was the only comeback we didn't make, like 14-1. We did 13-2, but never 14-1, so let's do another one. And you know, they were nervous, but they knew that it was something that could happen in the first match, so they're good for the next one, I think.
I like that. You're still staying confident with it all. Obviously, you won't know who you're facing just yet, but what are you going to do in this next bit of time while you're waiting for the next games? You're going to take some time to relax? You're just going to be able to refocus?
No, actually, we're going to go back to the hotel, and I think we're going to practice a little bit, just a little bit, just to stay in shape, because it's going to be a long day, and we'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. We'll keep that grind going. Zach, thank you very much, man.
Thank you very much for that one, Banks. And props to Zach for giving us a few... for them to be flying through, because 00 Nation are their first opponents up on the docket, and we all know what that means. Another Brazilian team in front of this beautiful crowd. The pressure is certainly on for BNE.
The pressure absolutely is on, but I think as a team, BNE are such knit tight. They're such a unit. They're so strong together.
Yeah.
I think they might have the shoulders needed to sustain that pressure, to sustain the crowd, because you could see it on these footages, right? The way they experience the game. They might be the most Brazilian, non-Brazilian team out there. I feel like they have this vibe to it, right? They just go in this together. They shout around. That's their way of playing Counter-Strike. And I think it's all they need. I think they need to be soldiers together, and that's what they've shown us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that like they have shown this kind of like a brotherhood kind of thing in the team,
absolutely.
right? And not only that, but I was even thinking that, you know, if they're not playing against a Brazilian team right now, I think those are the guys that, you know, the crowd is going to love them. Just because of the passion they put into the game, you know, the energy they have. I think, yeah, as you said, like they're kind of like Brazilians, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, it truly is a pack mentality for BNE coming forward. But for the side of 00 Nation, I think what is so special about this team is the fact that we have Taco and coldzera, huge veterans of the Brazilian scene, taken to the stage today.
I think that the symbolic of that team is beautiful. It's the past reaching out and holding the hand of the future. That's what's happening. It's players who've been and still are legends of the games, taking on new prospects, mentoring, tutoring them for the future. It's the likes of Taco, coldzera, of course. coldzera, arguably the greatest player Brazil's ever had in Counter-Strike, but now having to transition into a new role. He isn't the absolute lights-out, super hard carry that we've all loved to see. Now he's got players around him that he needs to mentor, and I think he's been doing great with this 00 Nation, and that's why I'm excited about this project.
Yeah, for sure. I think that people also I think some people undervalue a little bit the value like of Cold to this team, you know, because as you said, he changed his roles completely to make sure that, you know, the younger players get to play completely in their comfortable zone. So for him to do that, you know, it shows how much he wants to win, how much he wants to create a successful project, right? And also one thing that I would highlight is just Taco, right? Like we can't forget the fact that Taco has been developing as an IGL, right? It's not something that he was comfortable with at the beginning, and he always had Fallen as a leader for his teams, you know, who probably helped a lot. And just the fact that Taco is able to, you know, lead this team and do everything is just incredible. Yeah.
Well, you speak of Taco. Let's get some words from him, courtesy of Banks, head of the series.
I got 00 Nation's in-game leader Taco with me here. He's got a big smile on his face. We're in your home country. It's a special major, but I want to start by asking, with some of the younger players on your team, how are they feeling coming into this? Because you and Cold know what it's like.
They are feeling great. Everyone's feeling great, actually. We've been working with our psychologists since the start of the month. Nice. I mean, last month.
Yep.
And he's doing an amazing job with the entire team. So everyone is really calm and relaxed to just enjoy the moment. That's what we want. We want to enjoy the moment and play some good Counter-Strike.
And in terms of the game you've got today against Bad News Eagles, would you say they remind you a bit of this Brazilian style? They play so aggressive, so fast-paced?
Yes, they are definitely a team that plays very, very aggressive. But that's something that we are not used to. I would say that they have a play style very similar to Brazilian teams as well. That's actually very accurate. But I mean, they have the strategies and the way of thinking about the game, and I respect that. And it's going to be a very difficult game.
So you say it's going to be a difficult game, but do you feel like you've got a good read on it? You've got a good game plan to take them out?
Yes, we had after the RMR, we played the Blast qualifiers, and then we had some extra time to watch their demos and go over their game and the way they like to play. So we could prepare very well for this game, and we know what to do. The game plan is already on everybody's head, and they just want to join the 7 now and pop some heads.
Well, let's see that happen, Taco. Thank you very much, bro.
One thing is for certain, this is going to be an absolute brawl coming into the arena. We can see the mapping and bands rolling on down the bottom of the screen. Obviously, the best of one coming into things. We've spoken about kind of the veteran side of 00 Nation. Any of the newcomers that you want to put under the spotlight?
Well, I like that you asked the question, Freya, because I think that the limits, I think the horizon is set by the young stars of 00 Nation, and this is how we can assess that team. We're going to have Vertigo as a map coming in, but Dumao and Try are the two players who are going to set the path for 00 Nation. As simple as it is. If these two find their momentum, they find their groove here at the major, suddenly I think we could be just limitless in what we see from 00 Nation. But if they falter, if they get shy, if they get timid, fragile, that might be a complicated event.
Yeah, for sure. I would even highlight like Dumao. You know, I think just because of the role he has in the team. I think the thing with these two young players is that at least so far they have been putting up really good numbers. Like they have been stepping up their game in every single series that I saw. So having those two young players shining all the time while having the experience on coldzera, Taco, you know, that does help Taco on calling a lot better because he knows that, you know, he's not going to need to do anything crazy and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just impressive.
Do you think the home crowd is going to be treating 0-0 Nation slightly differently, maybe a slightly different outcome than what we saw versus 90 earlier?
I think they're going to be just that and more. I think they're going to be 100% with 0-0 Nation. Every single kill a 0-0 Nation will find, BNE will be screamed at. And I've had the pleasure as a player to be against the crowd. It's not something that I wish for you to be in there. So I hope they got the shoulders, they got the nerves for that one.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, I mean, we can really hear the crowd is going nuts,
it's insane.
Right?
The game hasn't even started yet, and they're already absolutely chanting their hearts out. I hope they keep their voices quelled, though, because we've got a hell of a lot more Counter-Strike coming up. I just want to ask quickly, Peacemaker, for BNE coming into Vertigo, anything that you're particularly looking at for that particular team?
No, I think that like they, for 0-0 Nation, they barely played Vertigo in the past 3 months, right? So they do have this surprise factor in their favor in terms of like, you know, I don't think Bad News Eagles had too much preparation to rely on, you know, while on the other hand, 0-0 Nation probably has a lot to go on. So I think that does give them an advantage. And to be honest, like these players usually perform really well on Vertigo, like for 0-0 Nation. So I'm expecting a really close game and a really fun match. Yeah.
Well, Vertigo is going to be the map that's coming to fruition between 0-0 Nation and Bad News Eagles. Sadie Costa might not be super happy about that one, not being part of the Vertigo gang, but definitely nothing to be sad about coming into this matchup. It's 0-0 Nation taking on BNE. Guys, take it away.
Yeah, the Vertigang's got nothing on the Tuscany cartel, baby. We're going to take it all down. It's coming our way. But yeah, I'll put up with it, all right? Because we've got two of the iconics, the legendary Brazilians that have brought this scene so much. Taco and coldzera in the server in Rio.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It's an absolutely beautiful thing. Let's see what they've got in store for us, surrounded by some young Brazilians as well. Against the Bad News Eagles, Pistol Round is live here on Vertigo. Things starting off slow, things starting off calculated. As Double Nation wants to see if there's going to be any aggression from the CT side, nothing as of yet. So calm before the storm.
Later we'll go over and try. We'll work with him toward the ramp. One Flat True is the one that's tasked with spotting this out immediately. BNE, another team that was quite impressive on the road to Rio in Europe. Put up some big numbers in games I don't think people would have expected much from them. Obviously, not their first time to a major. One Flat True is still spotting, still trying to see if anyone's going to come here. Very slow take so far from Double O Nation.
Yeah, they're making sure they don't miss any details. Here's going to be a little flashbang from Taco just to take the angle away from Juan Flatro. Ooh, a little bit of damage done. He's going to start backing away. Here's the footsteps. And Double O Nation now starting to apply a little bit of pressure, but there's a trap set up behind sandbags. Good Molotov, but GXX has got a better headshot.
Huge kill from GXX because Try was waiting. He pushed Juan Flatro back. He had the position at scaffolding, but as soon as GXX went down, that was when Juan Flatro knew he would have to turn his attention back in that direction, and Juan Flatro's going to catch Taco out. Saneri gets coldzera. Both of those players gone. It's all on Dumao. That was a really well-timed retake toward that scaffold position on the back of GXX's kill, and Bad News Eagles will take the opening round. Good shot by Rigon to confirm it.
Yeah, really well done. Really well done from Bad News Eagles, holding their nerve. That is a beautiful sight for day one of the Challenger stage. Absolutely magnificent. We've got it all. Now we just need the Brazilian teams to win. 1-0. And a complete investment for Double O Nation. Tech9's Deagle's utility as well. Famas going to slow things down. Disorganize the hit just a little bit. Lado doesn't want to turn the corner, takes his time with it. Oh man, the covering fire from the Tech9s, and Taco's found the opening.
Good shot from Taco. Getting back away as well, running and gunning with the Tech 9. The damage is there. Bomb's going to get planted for Double O Nation. They've got a chance to capitalize on this. Smokes could actually let these pistols get so close and so punishing. Taco's going to get a reload in, but we already saw that Lotto's pushed up as well. And I think you're absolutely right. I think they have to back off of this. They haven't got a kill yet. Oh, Synopsy's in such a tough position. They jump in. Regon takes away the aggro. That means they can push. Good shot, Taco, but he's only good for one. Try is going to double up on that, and now the advantage. Look at the HP. This is done. Double O Nation going to tie it immediately.
They absolutely will. Another kill for coldzera to close out the round, and Double O Nation steal round 2. That's a round of utility. A very simple, easy hit to gain space up the stairs. The follow-up utility at the electric box of the generator locks out the retake, allows the Tech 9s to get close up. And the danger of those Tech 9s behind the smoke makes it so tough for BNE to start the retake. Perfectly played. And a good opening from Taco. Look how fired up he is right out of the gate. 1-1.
GXX down already. Tries going to find him. Flashed and smoke. Didn't matter. He knows the angle. He can hear him coming the whole time. M4 sits on the ledge. coldzera, AK in hand, is the next to try and challenge this ramp position. Oh, we'd love to get vintage cold, wouldn't we? Good boost up. Synopsy able to sit back on this. Waiting for a chance. Goes off a bit early, though. Try was already looking. They might go back to it, expecting that eventually they are going to show themselves in this position. And he gets taken down immediately. Try finds it. One step ahead of Synopsy the whole time. Sineri's going to push down, though. That does get one kill back, and a flurry of frags come in because Regon's able to strike. So is one flat true. The timing is everything, and they'll steal the round right back in their favor.
Oh, that is a gut punch. That is a gut punch because Double O Nation, it seemed like they were getting what they wanted. Bad News Eagles just converges at the point of attack, and they swarm. So many bodies. Double O Nation never expected this much resistance. Never expected this amount of players to be taking fight after fight. And a great double kill from Juan Flatro to put him in the advantage. 2-1.
Naito looking for a chance. He's going to be aggressive this time, try and get ahead of the chaos that Bad News Eagles started in the last round, as it was complete crossfires in every single position.
Ooh, here we go. They got space. They got space. Oh, no one has any idea. They have no clue but Juan Flatro. Oh, he slid over to the other side, and they didn't realize it equally. That was actually such a dangerous round. What a good recovery.
I'm surprised Dumont actually stopped up. I know he took a couple of crossfired shots or drive-by shots as they get into the site. Good bomb plant. That'll at least give them the money, but this is an easy retake. I actually expected him to swing CT with the pace that he went in there with.
You either have to look left and you find that player kind of at the default boxes. You either need to commit to that fight or you swing and you hard clear to the right.
Yeah, he just gave him a warning, right?
Lost himself a little bit in the play, but the space was there. Yeah, he's just a little bit scared of actually committing to that fight at the range with the Tech 9 and was overexposed. And even if the player in CT spawn.
Even if you call the player default box, your second man in is going to take that fight if you want to swing. So
yep.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Either way, it's 3-1 now for Bad News Eagles. With the bomb plant coming in, not enough money to go on top of that to complement the buy. So they'll be left on pistols again, 0-0 Nation, but it's Deagles for everyone with the exception of Try, who holds on to the bomb at this point in time.
3-1, and Bad News Eagles get a chill. They know after converting consecutive rounds, they've got the economic advantage. They know it's got to be back to pistols. Not a close enough round 3 to warrant a buy. Excuse me, not a close enough round 4 to warrant a buy from Double O Nation. And Regon's going to get aggressive around the smoke. Oh, good transfer over. Does eventually fall, but he's got himself a double kill. And Lado is left in a 1v4.
Try and get some shots on the Deagle.
Ooh,
that's one of them.
I believe it's Keota here in Brazil.
All right. Well, KO'd indeed, as Lado does pick up the M4, but too many players to fire at. Looks down below, and Juan Flatru's able to swing up high as he does so. So 4-1 now for BNE. Crowd is built for this game naturally with Double O Nation being on the stage.
Some of their favorite sons
Yeah, absolutely.
in the lineup, yeah.
Just after noon here now, in fact. We're 12:25 local time. So more and more people getting to the stadium, and for good reason. Taco holding on underneath the smoke has actually got there quite quickly. I don't know if they'll be fully aware of this. He's going to go for this quick Molotov on top of the close position, so Flatcher's going to be forced off of that. Has to smoke it. Can't overcommit to chasing that, though, because good follow-up position by Sineri.
Good piece of utility forced out, though, by the Molotov from Taco, especially considering they're at such a deficit in that department in this round. Look at the counter nades. Bad News Eagles want to retake and maintain this position. Flashbang to peek up over the boards and down the stairs. They see nothing, but plenty of bodies here. Sineri, Lord back, Lord himself into a double kill, and Juan Flatro adds a third.
Still, though, they managed to get 2 back. The fact that he got 2 on that was a good peak, but they've opened up a bit of space for themselves to try and work toward this B site. They're not going to go with pace, though.
Ooh.
Missed Molotov by Cold. 2 players on this side. They could have tried to pump the brakes on this. They could have tried to rotate them back over, utilize the ladder even, and go toward middle, but GXX, AWP, no mistake, try goes down, Cold 0. We're going to need some vintage Cold right now if he wants to win this one out.
I don't know he's here.
Yeah, I was going to say they have no idea, but GXX on the angle is going to find it. So 5-1 indeed. I think we know which side the crowd is for in this one, Jason.
Yeah, we do. Well, I think the crowd is still waiting to have that kind of loyalty and that kind of energy rewarded quite yet. A flat opening game with 9Z getting trounced by Gamer Legion. And an early deficit for Double O Nation now as Bad News Eagles. I mean, this is the style that we all know they love to play, in your face. They don't want to give up ground. They're going to come right back at you, not afraid of anything. They play no respect Counter-Strike until you force them to respect you. And at the moment, Double O Nation have not quite done that yet. Back to Tech 9s and a P250. Remember as well, so much of the emphasis on Taco and Cold Zera due to their pedigree. But outside of that, a very inexperienced 3 players along with them.
But that is the rebuild that Brazil's been in.
Yeah, Brazil is a region. It's been very clear these last few years. The old stars are fading. It's time for the new blood to step up, and that's been part of the charm or the rise of Furia. Now it's about who's going to follow Furia's footsteps.
Well, and having this, experience of Taco and Cold is going to help fortify some of that future talent. But right now, that doesn't matter. Right now, what matters is getting kills against P&E. Again, they'll get dismantled at mid as Synopsy finds 2. Good shot from Triad at range. Unfortunately, they already had too many players inside of the site to swarm on Taco, who couldn't capitalize on that opening pick when they did arrive. And it's all on Doom out. Tech 9 in hand. He's going to reposition just to see if he's being flanked, but they'll continue to hold the front of the site. It does have the bomb to work with, but I don't know with 30 seconds he has the goal to try and rotate that back over and hope for an optimistic plant.
Kill's the name of the game, right? Limit the economic growth. Limit what you can from the money building up behind Bad News Eagles. Unfortunately, they already know his position, so he's not catching anyone off guard. 17 seconds left on the clock. He's going to go down here to the position from Synopsy, who's got the final frag, and it's 6-1.
And 3 kills for Synopsy in the round as well, so he's looking sharp as always.
Yeah, 7 for Sineri, 10 for Juan Flatro, who's had himself a good game as well to start things out in these first 7 rounds of play. Timeout taken from Double O Nation with this deficit. Want to talk things over. Cone gets chucked off the side of the building.
Even the Cones had enough of Vertigo.
Yeah, they went out. They're like, get me out of here.
I'll stop. I'll back off. For now.
For now.
So a 6-1 scoreline, another slow start on stage for the South Americans. But at least have 1 already to accumulate, and now they'll be back on rifles in this particular round. Dumas yet to buy. He'll join his teammates with the AK-47, and a decent amount of utility as well. They've got 4 Molotovs and 5 smokes. Top of that, a single nade and a bunch of flashes to work with. They're going to use the first smoke already to try and get toward those B stairs. Sineri is the one up above it. He's going to drop a nade down. That'll do damage onto Cold Zera. I spent the entire last 2 weeks studying nade damage, Jason.
Oh yeah, you ready? You're prepared?
No, I'm not. No, I'm kidding.
You had a rough time of it during the road to Rio.
I have no idea how someone didn't edit together a compilation of that, because it was quite ridiculous. all of Pro League and the road to Rio.
Yeah, it was a tough 6-week stretch for you.
So the boost up for Dumont instead. A lot of commitment toward this B side of the map so far for 0-0 Nation.
It's a passive defense here as well. With utility, they should be able to have some space turning around these corners. Scenari's first contact at Generator, making sure they can't close this gap. That's an important kill. He's not actually trying to stop the plant. He's not actually trying to peek too much into the bomb site. He's making sure if they need a retake, they have the avenue for it. Unfortunately, that kill from Taco is going to take that option away from him.
Big miss from Cold on that pitch slow to react on the gray screen when Flatcher only took a single bit of damage from that AK try. Going back around, Regon, who's got more patience. And he knows there's got to be something around here. He's going to go in and make no mistake on it. GXX, meanwhile, though, found Taco. Lotto, not efficient, but does get the kill. One Flatcher, the damage was there. He's able to collect, and now they have the advantage, but they're trying to find Synopsy, who's nowhere to be found.
Nowhere even close. He might have
DC.
perhaps crashed, I was going to say.
Yeah, his hands were off the keyboard. He was at ramp the whole time, so they'll get one on that. The tech wasn't called. I'm just going to look back. There was nothing. There was a stop called, but I think it was too late in the round. I didn't see any reaction to that, so they'll call a tech. That one's going to stand. Double O Nation will take their second.
Yeah, that's a rough one to swallow, but still a pretty convincing hit from Double O Nation. At the end of the day, it might not have mattered, but still, you're going to feel like one was stolen from you if you're Bad News Eagles.
It's a tough one to debate, right? It depends on when he arrives on this retake.
I didn't see exactly when he crashed in the round either.
Taco's kill was actually pretty massive toward the AC because that allowed Cold Zero to slide up, but Cold missed a shot there. There's no question he was a bit slow on that. Those are things from Cold Zero in his prime he would never miss, so he's got to get those figured out because that was a really good take and crossfire setup.
Yeah, he's going to be a big engine for this team to overcome some of the inexperience on his three teammates who haven't been in these situations. That was a rough one to drop. You're exactly right. Taco's kill. His second opening kill in similar situations. He had the opening kill in the Tech 9 round number 2.
Yeah,
Double O Nation actually won. So Taco's doing a good job on those entries towards the B bomb site. We're going to get a little bit of a delay in the action as everyone's waiting for the fifth player to rejoin the server.
Synopsy should be back pretty quickly. I hope he had his headset off. Obviously was communicating with the admins. Totally allowed for him to communicate with him or the coach, or you can communicate with the admin what the issue is. You can't obviously communicate amongst yourselves during a timeout period. And with this much passion in the building, it's going to be so hard for some of these coaches to remain composed during these rounds as well. As remember, at the Valve Major, coaches have to be silent.
Have to relax.
Chill's a good word. I hope that gets lifted at some point in time. But should get ready to get back underway soon.
Man, I mean, what a position these tech balls is. You just have to sit there quietly and just experience the energy being chucked your way. 6-2 lead for Bad News Eagles. If you're just joining us, this is the opening day of the IEM Rio Major. Here on the mainstream, we had Gamer Legion blow out 9Z in the first game. There is a B stream going on as well. Simultaneous matches here at IEM Rio. Mouse won their opening match against Outsiders as well on the B stream.
Yeah, absolutely. And Outsiders, best of ones, okay, they're not always the strongest in those. I'm not worried for them yet dropping down into that bracket already. I think they'll be fine. They lose the second one and go 0-2, okay, maybe different story, but I think they're look, not as worried about them as, let's say, I am with 9Z being in that bracket, and it's going to be a lot more uncomfortable for them.
Second match going on right now in conjunction with this one on the B stream is OG taking on Greyhound. OG with a very tough getting to the major experience for that organization. A very emotional qualification for them.
Yeah, no question about that. Up 4 right now. You can even squad stream on Twitch, Jason.
Oh my lord, you can do it all.
I think the option's there even on mobile nowadays. It just gives you a little pop-up saying click this, and then you can watch them both. It's pretty sweet, the squad streaming. You just click back and forth on which one you want the audio from. So, you know, if you want to go round to round, literally, you can just do that.
Beautiful.
Rather than having to alt-tab and mute or switch monitors, whatever the case may be.
Did you do your pick'ems, Matthew?
I have never, ever in my life done a pick'em. Actually, I should say believe it or not, but no, you definitely would believe
Yeah, I definitely believe it.
I did think about it for this event, because I was like, all right, look, I've got time, I can log in, and then I went, you know what? Why start now?
Yeah, I was going to say, at this point, it's principle of the matter.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well,
as you say, Jason, I'm the contrarian.
Yeah, you are. You are the eternal contrarian. I was going to work that into a whole thing. Greyhound has obviously been a very popular pick for the 0-3 of the pick'em that OG is going up against, but you're not. You can't throw me a bone as you haven't done it. So
no, I couldn't. I don't know why I haven't. It would be nice to have those coins on my.
That's right. We'll get it for the legend stage, man. I'll sit you down. We'll do it together.
But they need to make it more challenging because it would be too easy for me. I would just, like, what's it going to do? Add value to my account that I have diamond status every single time?
True. Yeah,
so
yeah. Let the little people have some.
If they
glory.
have to let me pick scores for each and every game, okay, then we're talking.
Then we're cooking with gas.
Yeah, exactly.
6-2, back into the action. Tech Pause had a tactical timeout taken from Bad News Eagles. Right out of that, probably the coach saying, calm down, don't worry about it. Juan Flatro is going to continue his tear, a double kill. Second one through smoke, cleaning up the dink. Oh, and he's going to add a third. That is so phenomenal.
Yeah, that is a shutdown. Straight out of the Tech timeout after a win from 0-0 Nation, looking to finally put 2 rounds in succession together. Try, he's going to double it up. 1 on 5, though. This would be huge. Has a bit of smoke. There's going to be a flank coming in naturally with the timing on this. Oh, he's read it. He's read it well. He does the damage, but couldn't quite hit it. We're going down to 3 HP. Hits that. If he's able to jump off the ledge and reset the round slightly, you give him a chance in that.
Yeah, you give him a puncher's chance, wouldn't you? That could have been interesting.
This was so fast, though.
Yeah, what a sequence. And even time to reload and time to get ready for that third fight. coldzera around the smoke, can't get it done. Good double kill here as they line up for him, but a near impossible situation to be in. 7-2, and you're exactly right. A huge win for Bad News Eagles out of the tech issue, out of the timeout as well. Back on track immediately.
Ooh, Taco's just going to go through this. He wants to take advantage of the MAC-10. Flash timing absolutely annihilates him. As he came around the corner, all he could do was pre-fire and hope for the best. Rigon's going to take down Cold, who's been very cold so far to start this game. Only 2 kills so far for him. Same with Dumau, for that matter, and he's going to get removed right now by Synopsy, who equals that total in this round alone, as he's done so many times, so many multi-kills for Synopsy to start off this series.
Bad News Eagles is looking on point. Individually, these guys are accurate at the moment, and they are confident.
Did his score... No, I guess it did reset after the rejoin. I say so many multi-kills. He has a 3-kill round, then a 2-kill round, but he only has the 5 kills total, Synopsy.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a reset there on the scoreboard you're looking at. Look at the one on the main screen, Matthew. You're looking at the Go TV. You're looking at our fancy side monitors for the minimap.
All right, hang on. Let me, you surprise, here we come. Okay,
nope, he's got 5 here too.
It's making me scroll.
I was
going to say it's 5 and 5. Yeah.
All right, well, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Try is going to open things up. Good kill on Rigon with the AWP. That's on the other side of the map, away from our vision.
The deaths were correct, right? That was the giveaway, Jason, because he only rejoined last round.
Okay.
And he has 5 deaths.
Nice.
So it had to be correct.
Had to be.
We're not very good at deductive reasoning.
No, we're not.
But that's why we just talk about what's in front of us. It's great.
Exactly.
We're going to go back around.
I'm just trying to throw him a bone. Like, yeah, he'd certainly have over 5 kills.
I thought you were trying to throw me one, to be honest, but I guess it's not all about me. Good anticipation from Bad News Eagles. They put the pressure toward mid again early on, try and combat Double O Nation. This is an interesting decision to put 2 here, but that's why one of them has a smoke already at the sandbags.
And if a Molotov goes here, you put it out, and I think one player aggressively swings to try and show the escape, and the other waits, lies in wait. Now, there's only one Molotov. That's on Lotto. We'll see where he puts it. Synopsy is going to get a little bit wider with an off angle, blinded, and back towards sandbags we go.
Yep, here it is. So the smoke's going to go down. I think you're right. They'll just sit there. coldzera, he finds the first. Sonari does try and get aggressive on it, and they are waiting. They are waiting the whole time. Lotto's got one already. Can't follow it to find the second. And it is Dumau, and he has no idea. This is a well-called play, well spotted by you. When Flatcher just sits, and allows them to walk into a trap because that bomb down, they've got a pinch from both sides, and he knows he's got to be there. 9-2.
What a great defense. What a great defense from Bad News Eagles. They hold top of the ramp. The main thrust of the attack is coming in around scaffolding. And when they eventually get the space after taking down GXX, they're just not ready. They're not prepared for all the bodies fighting from the top of the ramp at a different angle than they were ready for. That's huge defense for Bad News Eagles. Look at this, 2 players they have to contend with, and still the third Juan Flatcher who gets this last kill. How you ever supposed to read that if you're Double O Nation? An AK-47 on coldzera and 4 Deagles to surround it. Double O Nation having a very rough time on Vertigo T side.
So far, no question. Synopsy's going to take out coldzera. No one for him, and the round going their way, looking like a 10-2 start. Bad News Eagles can certainly be, I think, a dark horse in this one. I think in the entire event, not just the challenger stage, I think they've been putting in a lot of work and looking really sharp so far.
I think they got a lot of people, regardless of who they're fans of, rooting for Bad News Eagles to do some good things at this event as well. And a very compelling story going back to some of the previous performances at the majors back at the Antwerp, as they burst onto the scene and showing improvement heading into Rio here. 10-2, 8-round lead for Bad News Eagles.
Took out 4s in a 2-1 to qualify in their final match of the RMR to be here. Did drop to Spirit 2-0, but remember, they also absolutely obliterated Astralis 16-3. And I know, yeah, Astralis aren't here, and for good reason. They didn't deserve to be. They didn't play like they deserved to be, but that is still a huge scoreline for an underdog in that situation.
It's massive. Had to have felt great. Has to feel even better building upon it. Taco again trying to have some influence. Can't find a clean fight. He's had the 2 opening kills in the 2 rounds that Double O Nation have won. His entry kills have provided the 2 victories, the 2 sole victories.
So Taco will call that there's one at mid because he actually saw that bounce off the skybox. So he knows exactly where that Molotov came from. I don't know if Saneri spotted him there. Okay, he might have, because the late nade suggests he does. Yeah, the Molotov going down.
Bad News Eagles have really been challenging these beast stairs quite frequently, especially when you consider both round wins for Double O Nation happen at that bomb site. Here's Bad News Eagles just saying, okay, look, if you're going to win 2 rounds here, we're just going to prevent you from ever truly attacking this site.
And the ramp hasn't looked composed. You go back to the last round, sure, they have that sneaky smoke play behind the sandbags, but you also go back to the round where it was pistols, round 4, and they get absolutely caught out by it. Great dink. That's good information as well. Not only did they hear the damage, but they know there's a player there. So Rigon's got to be a lot more careful in how he chooses to position himself in defense. He's actually going to get slightly more aggressive and play an off angle at the crane. And a flash from Synopsy to try and activate him in this spot as they do get closer and closer to the top of the site and the top of the ramp. Flash out, Rigon goes. He's in for 2 with that HP. Lotto finally puts him down. That is a massive play, set all the while. And not only, even if he'd gone down, not only does he get the kills, he gets the information, and the rotations are on. GXX is unaware that they are in behind his position, but it won't matter what Flasho's going to put down.
Time's done.
To Mal, and you're absolutely right. No time to plant. They clean it up 11-2.
Man, Bad News Eagles is playing such a good game. They're not giving any real clean looks to Double O Nation in the start of this round and the early going of these rounds. So, I mean, that time it's just so little utility when Double O Nation eventually pulls the trigger on that A bomb site. Perfect line of sight for GXX with the AWP. And off the back of this double kill, Double O Nation wasn't set up, wasn't ready for it whatsoever. Lockdown defense at the moment for Bad News Eagle, and another timeout is called by Double O Nation. It's their second used.
And rightfully so. Use these up early. Double O Nation definitely. I mean, Fury, I think, in my opinion, has the best chance of all the Brazilian teams right now. That goes without saying. They've been playing at the top tier for a while. I think Art has really brought something dynamic to that team, especially has reinvented himself again within that aggressive sort of style that he has, and they've looked sharp lately. I think in Pro League, sure, they finished 3rd in the group because Liquid was able to beat Cloud9.
Yep.
But I think they actually were the second best team in that group to Cloud9 in a lot of ways. And I genuinely think that they have a great chance of making it through to the playoffs of this entire major. But Double O Nation has to be one of the 2 favorites in terms of fanfare, with Imperial obviously and the Legends being there. I say Legends in terms of the legendary, not the romantic style, not the literal term. I've got to be careful with that one.
Not the stage of the tournament. Well, speaking of the Double O Nation boys, they need these last 2 rounds. They need some space to work with. They need some room in the second half to mount a comeback. 2 is not going to be enough. And again, limited by utility, limited by weaponry. 4 Galils, on the board. and not really a whole lot of nades to work the map in any kind of realistic fashion. This almost has to be, like, having this much control towards A ramp is phenomenal for them, but this has almost got to be like the execute point with what little nades they have.
Flatcher looking for an angle and a place to get aggressive. He's going to leap to the ladder and work his way down. This could be massive if he's able to sneak in behind. They're looking for it, though. They've got an inkling. They've got a hunch. And Taco takes out one Flatcher. And this is something we have to talk about. The crowd's not saying anything specific. Just by making noise and creating that level of anticipation, this is normal at LAN, but a lot of the younger players at this major are going to have to catch on quickly as to how to use that and lose against that. There's information you can take away and work it to your advantage.
Absolutely, part of the inexperience factor. Well, they're going back to the B bomb site. 2 players defending. This is perfect for Bad News Eagles, but a missed shot. Still one more, but how much can Scenari do? Not enough as Lado grabs the angle. Synopsy, they've got money. They can go for, I mean, he's going to have to go for this. He's not getting away. 1v3, dropped by Lado. 3rd round for Double O Nation. That might have been, I like the play from Juan Flatro, and he's got a lot of confidence with the way he's been playing. In a 5v5, that might have been a bit early to go for that much of a flight.
And again, I know they have great noise cancellation and whatnot. There's still ways you can feel the crowd, and you're going to hear a slight rumble, and you can immediately tell that they turn backwards. Okay, nothing's happening. We're not pushing anything. So why is the crowd getting hyped? Someone might be pushing us. And it's some of those situations where one Flatcher goes aggressive all the way. Sometimes you want to get aggressive and then stop and wait. And let the crowd be loud and just hold your angle because you've already got yourself somewhat close to the position. But again, this is something that's been common at LAN forever, and it's something that the inexperienced players are going to have to learn very quickly here in Rio. Because remember, this is just the challenger stage and the crowd's already this loud. Wait until we get to the main event.
Day 1, game 2. Oh, Rigon, it took him a second to really accept the fact that someone was on his screen. He gets the kill, try with the trade back, into a 4-on-4 we go.
Taco's gonna go gather the bomb and group with his teammates to try and make this work, though. More action and aggression from Synopsy, another double from him. He may not have the most amount of frags, in fact, bottom of the scoreboard for his team, but when he gets one, it seems he always finds a second to complement it, and Taco trying to get aggressive. GXX is limited to just the pistol. Good read from Taco. You can run back up that ramp all you want, but he finds the off angle above the boxes instead, and it's one Flatro trying to get forward of utility and catch them out if they think they have access to the site. They do not.
He's done it, but Dumal's going to slow play this. I don't think Juan Flatro's going to expect it. Now the timer. He's got to look both directions. Oh, good headshot. Good spin, and can't find it. Taco, 3 kills in the round, and no more kill than this last one.
30 seconds, he goes for the bomb plant. Scenari gets inside of the smoke already. He's got both angles covered off. Scenari has it covered. Indeed, the shin shows, and it's enough to make this now a 12-3 half. They'll get the defuse, and they will diffuse the situation in the crowd as well because they'll go silent once more, Jason.
Yeah, it's going to be halftime. We're going to take a break. Bad News Eagles in the good first half, 12-3, and we'll return to see the conclusion here on Vertigo.
Are number 1, 0-0 Nation are number 2. They've got a pair from the former SK Luminosity lineup that won those 2 majors in Taco and Cold, and they are going to be fighting for their lives in the arena.
I think our goal was just to qualify for this stage. For us, like we don't put too much expectations. We just want to build the team step by step. We don't want to put too much pressure on our shoulders, and at the end we're gonna regret this. So like for now we just want just to keep step by step. We're just growing each match. We're gonna grow in something and just get more experience. But our goals is just to do our best and try to qualify.
To say that they could win the whole thing may be a little bit far-fetched. I'm not going to try to sell you a bridge, but there still is going to be hope for them to maybe get through the Challenger stage with some of the teams that we didn't expect making it all the way to Legends. So the Bad News Eagles, a team hailing from Kosovo, looking to take flight here at the Rio Major. They made their first debut appearance at Majors at the last one, at PGL Antwerp 2022. And what a show it was. You know, a lot of people were betting against them, and they honestly only impressed. But again, for a lot of these teams who are now repeats for 1 or 2 times, it can't be good enough to simply get out into the group stage. And we saw them play at the EU RMR. They were playing extremely hard the entire way through, and I think they are one of the teams to be feared here at Rio. So they've got a kind of a unique situation where they're one of the only teams that have bootstrapped their way into kind of creating an org for themselves and are looking for further support to maybe get picked up by some of the orgs that are interesting in CS. And for that reason, I think you got to believe they're going to be trying their absolute hardest.
We've kind of been looking for new org, but we've not made it public as much as we should have, because it's been a really busy schedule for us, having all these tournaments every single day, new tournaments, and trying to prepare for everything, not catching a break, being exhausted all the time and everything. But we're still on our way to get a new org and establish as a team. We're not scared of anyone, pretty much. We're just gonna go in and play our game. There's a lot of good teams in here. We're looking forward to some really, really nice and close matches, I believe. But we're pretty confident that we're gonna make it somehow.
I think the major would not be would be the same without Fallen, Fair, Taco, Cold, and FNX. I think it's really nice to have them for sure. I'm gonna be cheering for them. I hope they're gonna cheer for us as well, and I hope both can qualify for the Legend stage. I think it's gonna be a special event. I think this event's not just for us as players, but for them. We want this so hard in the past, and we could have got it now. And I wanna say thanks for everyone, thanks for yourself as well, to put this major in Rio. And I just wanna say for the Brazilian fans, for they enjoy and just have the best experience what they can have.
Well, being down 12-3 is probably not the best experience they can, and that's exactly what Cold Zero wants. Look, he knows that they are the underdogs in a lot of ways, that they are an inexperienced team, but as he said, don't put pressure on themselves. Yeah. That will apply itself in this situation, but if they stay true to that, there's a chance they can still work through this game in itself and the rest of this Challenger stage. Cold Zero himself, though, does need to start getting some kills on the board.
Yeah, I mean, this is again another situation where the hometown favorites just complete backs against the wall. What a devastating first half to have to go through. Cold Zero with the dualies, looking for him. So many bullets, ready for Scenario to come through. It's an opening kill in the pistol round. What more? Taco, gushed, forced back. A lot of pressure being applied by Bad News Eagles. Synopsy's got a double, and there goes Taco. And what are you supposed to do if you're try? Oh, just
okay.
that. Yeah.
Give it a try. How about that? You can try all he wants. He's got 2. GXX gets him down, but Cold Zero steps in, and here we go on the flag. Rigon's going to take him down, and that's going to close out the round 13-3. Cold thought he had one step ahead by dropping back out of the sight. Unfortunately, that's exactly where Rigon was waiting.
Yeah, hard to read that. Man, again, you mentioned in the first half, Synopsy, whenever you see his name come up on the board, there's another one to follow it.
Well, that's what blows me away, is because you press tab, and he's the bottom of the team. Like, when you see his name up there, you'd think he's killing everyone.
Yeah,
because
quality, not quantity.
Dude, it's instant doubles, like, every single time. He's like the untradeable player.
Well, that makes it real rough for Double O Nation. Makes it real difficult to get back into this.
Hey, look, they and 9Z both are in the same situation, and in some ways that'll be consolation for each of them. Guys, haha, laugh it off. Look, we're at home. We both had a rough start. We can both regroup from this, and they definitely need to look at it that way. GXX with a Molotov toward Try. That'll push him back up the ramp towards the A site.
Dumao waiting, Deagle in hand, misses the opportunity. One tag, Taco's got a FAMAS at the B bomb site, Try all alone at the A bomb site. The 2 defenders are split. Trying to recover a 2-on-4 scenario, and middle has been compromised. Oh my lord, the timing on that is huge. Timing on that is everything.
So Try goes down, Taco gets through the smoke, he wants to sneak in behind, but this is going to be such a huge amount of kills for him to find and make anything of this. Bomb already planted as well, and Scenario straight around the corner wide side with a MAC-10. Taco never expected it.
Yeah, they're like, you know what? We're in a 4-on-1. Why even go for the play right now? Let's make sure everything's secure. Let's not lose a single detail. Let's not lose track of a single player. 14-3. Timeouts taken from Double O Nation, but there's no good answer. There's no good decision in this situation.
Tough part is, and I understand what the crowd's trying to do, only be allowed for Double O Nation, therefore showing that they're only supporting that team. If I'm against a Brazilian team in this event, silence is the best sound I can hear.
Oh, yeah.
So there's got to be an in-between with this crowd on when to rally themselves up, when to big up Double O Nation on stage, and when to try and sort of be bitter and get in the heads of the other team. Because right now, I'm loving this. If I'm Bad News Eagles and I hear nothing, perfect.
I think at this point,
sit down, Brazil. We're in charge right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're Bad News Eagles, you might not even care about the crowd at this point. You're loving the scoreboard. You're just out there like, oh, 14-3. I'm having a great day. And this has been trademark Bad News Eagles. Great individual skill, incredible individual performance from the players, no fear whatsoever, in your face at all times, confident in every challenge, and they have really stumped Double O Nation.
Synopsy being aggressive again, pre-firing even. He'll take down Taco. He's looked away at the wrong time. Might get caught out here. There's a player to peek. Oh, okay, the smoke side. I thought they were going to actually push through it. I thought they were going to try and counter that off, but it's one Flatcher, only good for one over the top. Recon doubles. Cold Zero in a 1-on-4 this time. I was going to say they're all inside of the site, but there was one heading for a long flank. Doesn't matter. It's going to be that point already for Bad News Eagles.
Yeah, 12 of them, in fact. 12 chances to close this out.
Pumped full of lead in this game.
We saw Zach at the end of the 9Z game kind of telling his team, that's just game one. We've got plenty more chances to qualify through, plenty more chances to recover. It's going to have to be a similar conversation with Double O Nation when all is said and done here. But this one's very rough.
Lovely start, though, from Bad News Eagles, though. Synopsy looking for a setup. Support the flash through the roof to get his teammates in toward middle. That'll bounce off, cover off the left. Just gets around the big box. So throw it now, and then Scenario goes in. Tries too far back to be spotted, but Taco hears it. That gives him a chance down below. Had to aim up too far and try swinging around. Rigon had that cover. So now, it's just a 4-on-3.
Yeah, but Dumal's in a decent position to recover this. I don't think that they'll realize necessarily there's a player on the stairs. There's only actually one player in the bomb site. If Rigon goes down, Dumal has a chance.
Big kill from Cold then, because that'll put one Flatcher out of the rounds. And you're absolutely right. Dumal's going to go now.
Oh, doesn't
Smoke.
matter.
Yeah, well, it nearly did. I was going to say, nearly got Rigon, but they close it. Cold Zero was found, and he cuts off the back of the site with that information. Bad News Eagles have a good news morning because they just absolutely smoked Double O Nation in front of their home crowd.
Yeah, what a brilliant statement to make. If you're Bad News coming into this, Bad News Eagles coming into this, you're showing we have no fear. We have all the confidence, and we are not going to be afraid of taking control of the situation. Huge map 1 victory here at IEM Rio for Bad News Eagles. We'll be back after the break with the next match.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars. Crashing in my car, wake up in a bar.
Hey Future Pros, we are back with an advanced execute for your T-side on Inferno. For this execute, you will need 4 Future Pros along with 3 mollies, 3 flashes, and 2 smokes. Let's break it down. Future Pro number 1. Your first job is to boost up Future Pro 4 onto the half wall. After that, get into this position and aim your crosshair above this point where the roof tiles combine. This molly will land and force out anyone playing first or second oranges. Then bank a flash off this window to blind anyone on site or in CT. This will allow you to get a quick smoke covering off CT spawn. And for good measure, lob this deep flash over CT spawn, which will further blind anyone playing on the site. Future Pro 2. You'll be smoking off coffins and also provide a supporting flash. To smoke coffins, get right up into this corner with the logs. Aim upward along the line of this fence and stop when you're at this line with this other fence post. This smoke will block off behind coffins. It is thrown this deep to discourage CTs from pushing through and hugging the side of the smoke. So be aware that someone still could be holding coffins. Alternatively, you can throw this smoke a little higher and coffins will be fully smoked off, but be wary of an aggressive CT. Finally, aim above these wires over the left of the plant pot. Walk forwards and throw the flash as you get to the second wire. This will provide a flash to blind anyone on the B site. Future Pro 3. You only have one molly to throw, so don't mess it up. Your molly will be to push out anyone who's playing New Box. To do this molly, get up into this part of the wooden barrels, formerly known as car. Then aim at this part of the tile and jump throw. Now no one can play from New Box, great! Future Pro 4. You also have an easy job. Once Future Pro 1 has boosted you onto the half wall, position yourself over this corner of the wall. Then aim at this gap in the trees and throw your molly. This will force anyone out of dark. If this execute is done correctly with the right timings, there should be literally nowhere for the CTs to stand apart from out into the open. But make sure you practice those timings, it really is all about timings.
Turns out the crowd buff hasn't quite kicked in for our Brazilian teams just yet, but it's good news on the side of the Eagles. Absolute decimation in their opening series here in Brazil. And Peacemaker, you were saying you were surprised to see it even end up on Vertigo in the first place when we're looking at 0-0 Nation's win record recently.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I think Vertigo has been a map that 0-0 Nation played only once in the past 3 months, right? And they even lost that series. And I think that one of the, I mean, I have to assume that the fact that they decided to play Vertigo was more towards like, they probably practiced the map quite a lot recently. And I mean, it does make sense, right? Because they are about to play a major, they have to improve their map pool. So they decided to test Vertigo, and probably as well, I would assume that just the fact that Bad News Eagles wouldn't be able to prepare as much for them, you know, they kind of have to go blind because you can't really prepare a lot for when 0-0 Nation only played one game, right? So I think they tried it and they had a clear game plan throughout the whole game, which I guess we're going to talk about a little bit, and it just didn't pay off, yeah.
Yeah, Bad News Eagles just being incredibly proactive coming onto this map as well.
Yeah, I think the mindset from Bad News Eagles is the story, it's the talking point, it's what we have to focus on. They were so assertive, they were so courageous, so brave in looking for the information and grabbing map control away from 0-0 Nation. I think Juan Flatru kind of embodies this mindset what we were talking about. He had a bunch of multi-kills early on in the game who forced 0-0 Nation to be either always paranoid about your back or slowing down your pace. He was taking so much space. You can see here some of the duels he's taken in front of smokes, being pesky, being lurky. He embodied all that BNE needed early on, and he did a tremendous job.
Yeah, and I think that all, again, another IGL, right, who's stepping up and, you know, going for aggressive peaks and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, he was setting the pace of the game, not only him, but, like, I don't think that 0-0 Nation had an answer for the aggression coming out of Bad News Eagles. And even in the interview, we saw Taco talking about it, right, that they knew what they're facing against. They had a good game plan against it. They knew that they're aggressive, but yeah, it didn't show up on the server.
Do you want to give us some details as to what you kind of thought or were reading into what the game plan was for 0-0 Nation? Because you were saying there was a lot of fixation towards a particular side of the map. Yeah,
for sure. Like, I think that the game plan from 0-0 Nation was to hit the B-bomb side. They tried that a couple times throughout the whole game. And the thing is, like, they had a clear game plan about it, and once you start failing, then it's kind of hard for you to, like, you know, guys, let's just completely scratch whatever we had in plan and let's just switch over towards the A-bomb side. And when, let's say, for example, you take a timeout and then you do that, it's so obvious for the other team to just, you know, oh, okay, they're losing so much on the side of the map that, you know, they're probably coming towards A now. And I think even after a timeout or something like that, they lost a round on the B-bomb side, and then I think it was even Bad News Eagle who took a timeout. And then right after this round, Zero Nation went to the B-bomb side again, and they lost again. You know, so it's so hard to, you know, like set the pace of the game when things like this happen. And I think, yeah, Bad News Eagle just played really well.
I don't really mind if you're going to focus on the B side. If you're tackling, if you build that plan towards the B side, it's fine. But you at least have to grab some map control away from it. You at least have to do some presence on the A side. You have to trade a little bit. You have to keep BNE in the dark. It was so very clear early on, after 40, 50 seconds of round max. BNE, if you communicate just a little bit, you're going to know what's happening. And we just had our M-Force Hem High. We had Rigon as well up here because of the work he did on the A side. Anytime he was tested, it was multi-kills from down the ramp to back on the A side as well. He was passive when he had to, aggressive when he had to. He locked down that entire map on his own. A was closed by Rigon.
And a Swiss man after your own heart, Matthew, as well, hailing through a region. I do want to praise Bad News Eagles, especially what you were saying about the momentum that we can see them garner, because I think maybe that for me was a worrisome sign looking back at the RMR, particularly the two sides. Didn't really have to see a whole lot of that two side because it was a 12-3 first half. But the fact that they could keep that pacing up, I think that is what's so deadly about Bad News Eagles coming into a game.
Yes, we talk a lot about teams who are momentum-based. I think BNE is the poster child of momentum in Counter-Strike, and it can come for the good, it can come for the bad. We've seen them struggle to fight back in games and kind of find their second breath, but here they never had to. Here they were in the driving scene from start to finish, and they are truly a team where whenever they are in control of the game, they not only have individuals who make plays, as we've seen, but also their reads are really good. Like, they had a 4v5 in that game where GXX basically stacks on the A side, and there are 4 players here. And it's so soul-crushing if you're a 0-0 Nation. You are being slapped around. It's a 5v4. Finally got everything you need. And you realize your opponent just completely gamble stacked against you. Double stack, sandbag, plus AWP towards the yellow. That's it. It's at this point, you just let go of the keyboard and say, you know, I can't do anything right. It's just not working.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I think that what's even more impressive for me is that the fact that, you know, Bad News Eagle, at least before this major, they were playing a couple online matches and stuff, and their results has been pretty sloppy right after the Iron.
That was complicated.
Right? Yeah, that was complicated. So, like, just the fact that they're able to, again, against the crowd, against one of the favorites from the Brazilian scene, like, you know, pull up this performance and do what they did. Like, it was, as you said, like a complete domination. Like, 0-0 Nation had no answer whatsoever to whatever happened. Like,
Yeah, unfortunately for 0-0 Nation, that does spell an unfortunate loss coming into their opening matchup here in Brazil. But we do have some words from the birthday boy himself. It's Cold Zero with Banks.
I've got Cold Zero with me now. And Cold, I want to just touch on the things of looking at Vertigo, right? You've not played it since your South American qualifiers. Was this a map you've been working on, or did you just try and look at, like, Bad News Eagles not playing it so well recently?
So we were like playing a lot Vertigo on the practice. Of course, we didn't play too much on officials, but we saw the opportunity, like they don't play good Vertigo, so we tried to abuse that. And today was kind of hard a little bit. We were committing so many mistakes, missing grenades, missing flashes. Communication was not on point as well. I think like for us, like first match is always hard. So like I think people feel the pressure a little bit of the stage. So first match for us is always hard, like same as like we were playing RMR. So let's see in the second match.
And what were you saying to some of the younger players on your team, right? What were you and Cold saying to ensure they didn't kind of get nervous or feel the pressure from that crowd? Because I know you guys are used to it.
Like we just tell them like just breathe a little bit, just keep calm. Let the game go. Like get more initiative. We need more initiative because like we had so many rounds that we were on ramp. We knew they were playing like passive. We wait like 30, 40 seconds to execute A, and they just re-aggress us, and they pick us everyone with nades on hand. So we're just trying to tell them to be more calm, a little bit more calm, and have more initiative.
And on terms of that, right, when you mentioned the aggression, I actually thought that it would work quite well because you're used to playing against aggressive teams, especially from other Brazilian teams. So was there something in particular that surprised them, or are you putting it more down to yourself?
Yeah, I think like for us, like we knew like they play very aggro, but at the same time, like the initiative was not there. So when we need someone just to say, okay, I can smoke this, I can smoke that, and we didn't have, like people were a little bit quiet, and we got shut down in the first half buy. So we won our first buy. We knew they would re-aggro ramp, and we just took too long to execute it and take this shutdown a little bit and put a high pressure on us.
Well, it certainly sounds like you know what to do to fix it, so I look forward to seeing that. Cold, thank you very much, bro.
And I really like that honesty coming out of Calder as well, saying, you know, he felt like there was a lack of initiative taking in the server today. And we've got to, you know, put a spotlight on some of the newcomers as well. Some of the players, you know, aren't used to playing on these huge land stages in front of a crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about the rookies and how they would have to show up to define kind of the limits of 0-0 Nation. Well, there's no beating around the bush. Dumao was invisible. He traversed this game as a ghost, had no impact at all. I think 0.28 rating he had at the end of the game. Not that the number in itself matters, but the harsh truth is he failed his first test. This is now a failure. He can move on. Hopefully he can bounce back from it. I hope he gets help from the team as well. Because as a player, when you leave that chair, when you leave that stage and you gotta regather with your thoughts, then it's extremely hard to get away from that cloud, like nebula that you have. That was a failure. It's just one game, but Zero Nation won't win with Dumao in the hole.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's a matter of Dumao and Lato especially stepping up. You know, also Try as an upper. I don't think we saw many highlights out of him as well, right? So like when you have those three players, and like I said before, like I think Taco and Cold really gave up on a lot of their roles and a lot of the stuff that they like to do, purely to let the youngsters perform and feel in their comfortable zone. So when, unfortunately, we have those three players not playing up to their standards, then obviously this is what happened.
Yeah, something's got to give, right? If you give space to the youngsters of the team, if you say, listen, we're going to give you the resources, we're going to give you the positions, you the timings, we're going to build around you, then they cannot go missing. Because then the piece of the puzzle, it's not even a piece of the puzzle. It's like 50% of your freaking puzzle is missing. And of course you can't build the Arc de Triomphe because there's no puzzle here. That's what's happening with 00 Nation.
Also from the interview we saw Code kind of complaining about the communication and missing grenades and stuff like that. I could only assume that this probably came out of the youngsters. Because I can't imagine Taco as an IGL missing many grenades and stuff like that. And actually he's entering all the time, so I don't think he's the one throwing nades. So, for this to happen to Code, kind of highlight this in the interview. I think this is probably a topic that they're going to be talking about because, they're about to, face another difficult match afterwards, and they have to step up and fix those things because we're in a major. They can't, they can't do those mistakes on stage with a Brazilian crowd in such an important event like this.
Yeah, certainly not. It's never easy to be going down 0-1 to be starting off your journey here, not least if you're a Brazilian representative as well. But we're not going to be halting with this Brazilian train. Oh no, we have the top dogs of the region coming up next. The men on our screen, it's Furia. They're going to be rising to take on the German Giants, but with a little bit of that arsenal missing. Sin still standing in, and it's coming up after this.
For the Brazilian teams and South American teams alike. And the one that could be the star of the show is Furia, of course, the team with the highest HLTV ranking, the team who has consistently shown that they can take an upset here or there. They are overdue for a deep run. And of course, what would feel better than doing it inside of Rio?
You're at home and you're about to play a major. How does that feel?
Amazing. Like the feeling about playing home, it's something that we never had. Like a major is something that we always are eager to play, and playing in Brazil is something different.
We just wanted to step outside and take a look and talk about a team that everybody wants to talk about, and that's Big Clan. And I was really hoping that we would be able to catch a German. Oh, I've got a German. I've got a German. Yeah, you're caught. I don't have a Pokeball for you, but I wanted to.
I'm gonna stay here.
Yeah, what's your name, man?
I'm Max. Hey.
Max, I love the glasses, Max.
Thank you very much.
I'm Launders.
Thank you.
On behalf of all Germans, what is the opinion on how good Big are right now?
Big is sehr, sehr gut. Very good.
And finally, before I let you go, Max, say some good words about Germany to the CSGO fans.
Hallo. Ich hoffe natürlich, dass Big weiterkommt. Ganz, ganz wichtig für uns Deutschen, die auch in der Jeunesse Arena dann nachher zu sehen. Also, go Big, gemeinsam schaffen wir das.
Max, thank you so much. It's not exactly promising for Big. It's going to be a tough run. but they have so many veterans on this roster, lots of experience. Tabson as the IGL, I feel like you have to rate them. I feel like we have to.
So you've obviously got Sin here at the major. Do you look at that as a bit of a handicap?
I don't think it's a handicap anymore for us. We practice a lot now, like 3 weeks or something, so we got to know each other a bit better, and now it's good.
So when did you guys arrive? When did you get into Rio?
We arrived yesterday in Rio. I think it's a really nice city. It looked already insane from the plane, and yeah, we're looking forward to play here.
Bit of a contrast in the weather from Germany at the moment, I suppose. So how's the humidity treating you?
I think it's crazy. Like this morning when I played like aimbots in the morning, my mousepad was completely wet. It was impossible to play, so we had to turn on the AC to get some dry air. And yeah.
What are we thinking about the opening match against Big?
I think we're gonna face every opponent the same, so I don't like care who's gonna be the first match. We're just focused on beating them. So of course Big is a wild card, I would say. So just that we're focused on winning the game. It doesn't matter who we face.
I think we can find some success here in this tournament. We practiced a lot. We're looking forward to play on stage tomorrow, and yeah, I'm happy to be here.
There's the flash, that's going to catch Crims out, they're going to push on through, MBK gets one, but Crims with the spray down, he gets himself the triple, and Fnatic are not done yet.
Can you believe it?
The pack leaders of Brazil, Furia, rise to take on Berlin International Gaming. Okay, it may have been a little bit lackluster so far from the South American squads here in Rio, but if there's any team that we're expecting to deliver, surely Maniac, surely it's got to be Furia.
I think the story changes when it comes to Furia. The way we approach Brazilian teams as a whole right now is through a very romantic lens. We talk about, you know, the buff, improving, pushing your own limits. You have the crowd going for you. I want to spin a different story on Furia. I think for Furia, there is pressure to perform. There is demand to perform. There's an imperative to do something great in Rio because we've been asking for trophies. We've been asking for results, asking for achievements on the side of Furia. If you're not going to do it in Rio with that crowd, you're just maybe never going to do it. So they have pressure on them.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that for them, they wouldn't be happy at all with anything less than playoffs, quarterfinals, or whatever, right? They've been there so many times already. And as we said previously, like, I think having the home crowd, everything in their favor. I mean, the only downside is not having their coach, right, Gary, with them, which kind of affects a little bit, I would assume. But still, like, they have everything to be able to perform, right? They have great players, they have a great atmosphere around them, and yeah. So, and also, as you said, they have been struggling a little bit in terms of performance recently, so yeah.
I think that is kind of the perfect narrative to be framing it coming into things because, you know, we've seen the puzzle pieces, as you were saying, for Furia, trying, attempting to come together to, you know, get deeper into those big events. And we just haven't seen it. It's been, you know, major quarterfinal finishes time and time again since coming back from, you know, the pandemic break. And I think you're totally right. If they're not going to do it here, I just don't think it is possible for Furia.
Look, Furia is an elite team of Counter-Strike. I'm not here to debate that at all. But there has been a glass ceiling over their head for the last X million tournaments where it feels like there's a caliber of teams that they're not able to upset. There's a caliber of teams they're not able to overcome. And maybe, just maybe, we're gaslighting ourselves thinking that this is the context that they need to actually overperform. But I do believe that the answers must come from the server. I think there are individuals here who have to do more than they have done in the past. I think Safe has been too silent as an AWP, and we know how op-centric the meta is. I think Art has been a little bit figured out individually, and his input hasn't been that great. They have Yuri and Kisarado, one of the most powerful duo we have in the game in Brazil.
Yeah.
These people have to win. These people have to be winners. It hasn't been the case quite yet.
Yeah, for sure. And I also think that, I mean, they've been trying a couple different approaches, right? Prior to this, from what I heard, like they decided to not play that many events, so they had a extend boot camp in Europe, I think. And so, you know, they're trying to change the approach prior to this, and that's a positive sign, right? They're trying to do something different. Also, in terms of the game, as you said, like they have the individuals, but their game style, they have a very particular game style, right? Like very aggressive, and then Art going for entries as an IGL as well, just as we saw in the other teams today. And I mean, yes, that's fine, that's nice, but for example, when you're going up against big, like they are for sure very used to playing against teams like this. They have the experience. They have a really good coach behind them on God B who knows how to play against these sort of teams. So I think it's challenging for Furia, but they need to also change a little bit the way they play, try different approaches, not only outside of the server with the bootcamp, but also in the server, you know.
Well, you speak of the aggressor himself. Let's get a few words from Art and his thoughts and feelings in playing in front of a Brazilian crowd.
We're in Rio, we're in Brazil. I got Art with me here from Furia. Art, this is something special already, right? This is a challenger stage.
Yeah, you can hear that. For them, it's like the playoffs already. It's insane.
Now, we've been here in a long time, right? Brazil, they love Counter-Strike. They've been waiting for a major. But did you expect it to be like this?
To be honest, yeah, you can see how they are. It's impossible.
They absolutely love it. Now, for you, right, is it going to be pressure because the crowd is on your side, you want to do well, or is it going to motivate you? How's it going to be for Furia?
To be honest, I'm feeling motivated. I don't feel the pressure at all. It's feeling, the feeling is amazing. You can hear that, you can feel that.
And how many have you brought with like your family and friends? I see you guys with a lot of different people. Who's here supporting you guys?
Oh, my whole family is here. That's going to be amazing for them as well. It's going to be such a huge experience for all of us.
And do you think, right, that this is the time we get to see Furia finally go all the way, make it a deeper run? Right? You guys have had great playoff runs. You've looked better overall at different events. But we're waiting to see you guys grab that trophy. Are you in shape?
Yeah, I feel that. It's CS, but we're feeling that's different now.
That's what we're talking about. Now, overall though, when I'm looking at this crowd here, we've not even got to the main arena. Give me an idea of what I can expect. Is it going to be like the biggest one we've ever seen in Counter-Strike?
Definitely, 100%.
So, Rio Major, the best major of all time?
In Brazil.
In Brazil, my man.
Yeah, the atmosphere isn't going to be motivating you here. Literally nothing will. This is only day one of the Challenger stage, no less, and the hype is certainly real. And the hype for Furia coming into things is definitely not going to be dying down any more than we've seen. And I do want to put another name under the spotlight that you mentioned, the AWPing presence of Safe coming into things. I think we were really hyped to see him coming from the side of Pain Gaming. He had so much impact on that squad with the kind of caliber teams they were playing against. Where were you kind of at in terms of his impact in Furia? Because I feel like there's still a little bit left to give.
Overall, I've been relatively underwhelmed by what Safe has provided to Furia, and I think the unfortunate great example is that whenever he shows up at a game, it feels like it's a completely different team. When he has a great game, so suddenly the whole picture starts making sense. When he doesn't, though, I think that's an issue. I have to say, I will say to his defense, Furia is probably one of the trickiest teams to integrate as an AWP and find your groove and find your rhythm, because they don't exactly play by the usual rules of sending up an AWP and giving you the time and space to do what you need. He has to kind of catch up with the rhythm, but it's Art's responsibility and Furia's responsibility to also help him be in that position to have an impact. I just haven't seen it really enough for my taste.
Yeah. Same goes for me, and I think that as an AWPer, when you get integrated into the team, I think you have to make it very clear what your expectations are, you know, as an AWPer, and you have to put up, like, you know, what you like to do and those kind of things. And also, when you look at, as Freya said, like, they have been missing a good AWPer ever since Henny left the team, right? Yeah. And Henny was very active and very aggressive as an AWPer. Sometimes he was committing way too many peaks, committing mistakes and stuff like that, but he was also delivering a lot of the times. And when you compare Henny to Safe, they are relatively different AWPers, right? And I think what Safe needs to do and this probably has been, I hope this has been discussed during the boot camp, is he needs to step up his game and control the actions and, you know, not rely only on art, going for entries and doing crazy plays and stuff like that. We're all used to that, but very safe, going for opening kills, you know, and all that kind of stuff, because we cannot expect that from Yuri and Caserato. They're way more passive players who hold their ground, they're really good, but like Safe needs to step up. Same goes for Arch. So Arch needs to keep doing his thing as well, obviously.
Well, let's continue to put the Orcas under the spotlight and our Colex players to watch.
Big and Furia clash in their opening matchup of IEM Rio 2022. All eyes are set on these savage sharpshooters. Searson, the sniper. The pressure on Searson has risen. In the absence of their fully starting roster, the Alper must provide a pillar of stability. Stability, however, needs consistency. And when it comes to the LAN environment, we know Searson has struggled to deliver as heavily as he does online. But now it's his time to prove he can do it on the biggest of stages. On the other side, we have Safe. Furia's victories on their road to Rio were often spearheaded by their Safe pair of hands. Safe provides the pull to Art's push. If Furia are to surpass the heights of their previous online success, then Safe must play a significant role. One thing is certain, we know these guys will produce an electrifying matchup.
We got the orb behind Big here in Searson with me, and you're going into your opening game against Furia, mate. But I want to come back to your previous officials, look at Blast Showdown. It wasn't looking great for you guys, right? What have you done from this point onwards in order to make yourself ready for the major?
Yeah, we had a boot camp for 7 days, I think. So we prepared for Furia, and we also fixed our mistakes and tried to improve day by day. We watched also the Showdown game and also the IEM Rio before game. So we just tried to fix our mistakes, stayed cool because we know what we are capable of. So just stay focused and try to improve day by day.
And how's Sin feeling at this stage, and how are you feeling with Sin on the team? Do you feel like you're in a good spot now like you were before with Faven on the team?
I think it's difficult to say yet because Sin is still new in the team, and he's a hard-working player and he's really good. But like Faven, he's also a bit different. Maybe Faven has a bit more firepower than Sin has, but like we have to see. We have to watch like game by game and stuff. So, but I feel very confident. I think everyone else is also feeling really comfortable and confident. So yeah, we have to go game by game.
Game by game for sure. Now Furia, right, a team that you guys actually have a pretty good track record against. Is this a game where you feel like tactically you guys just are better than them, ahead of them?
It's hard to say because like they have a really unique playstyle, I would say. So like they punish every mistake. They also really they push through smokes and stuff. So like you have to really 100% focus to beat them. And tactical wise, I think we are maybe on the same level. I would say not better, but on the same page. Yeah.
Oh, I like it. Seriously, thank you very much for your insight.
Really great to get a little bit of insight from Searson, particularly as I guess the narrative coming into this. He's a gentleman that is way more comfortable Peacemaker in the surroundings of his home environment. I'm really looking to him to be stepping up on that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just very important. I mean, I've been looking a lot on big demos back in the days while I was coaching Imperial, right? And Cesar has always impressed all of us in Imperial. And I mean, it's just very important that as he normally does, he sets up the pace of the game, goes for his peaks, goes for the stuff that he likes to do. Not only him, but Tabson, right? I think Tabson as well is key for this team, for them to be able to, you know, set the pace of the game, set the momentum. Especially, like, I would say that Big's biggest challenge is themselves. You know why? Like, because they had so many roster changes and standings and that other kind of situation that, like, for sure, they're a great team. They are able to compete against Furia. But, you know, unfortunately, because of all the situations, they are in a tough spot, you know.
Searson gave us quite a nice PR answer, I guess, when he asked about the temperature check for Sin. We were at the Blast Showdown where we saw them, unfortunately, losing out to Sankel in what was an absolutely huge upset. What's your take on how, you know, Sin's been integrating into the team? Is it just down to him that we're seeing these reasons of Big struggling?
Listen, if we put down Sin as a win condition, that means we haven't understood the Big's case. Like, it's just unfair to Sin to be in that position, and it's disregarding some of the other issues. I think the conversation has to be centered around Searson. He has to be the talking point. He, at this major, has, I guess, the ability, but also the request, the task to break through his freaking chains. because he will always remain what we refer to as an online player. Sure, he's had a couple of great games here and there online. He's had a few events where his numbers are in the green, and I will acknowledge it. But we are yet to see the powerful Surson that we have seen during the online era take over games and win on his own. He was capable of doing it. He has done it multiple times in the past. Now, guess what? You are the freaking major. That's it. This is it. It's the best stage. If you're ever going to redefine who you are, if you're ever going to change the dialogue around you, if you're ever going to take charge of your story, now is the time. And it's not going to erase what happened in the past. He still had a couple of events where he disappointed us. But you could turn a new leaf here at the major. You show up here, you take charge, you actually play your best freaking Counter-Strike, and you push big into a new dimension.
So what are we saying? Are we saying we should get a bedroom set up for Surson behind him, you know, get his bed in there, get some posters maybe up in the booths? Do you think that would make him feel more comfortable?
No, I don't. No, I don't think it's a narrative we should push. No, it's. I don't think ESL would like to do that. You know, organize a single room for someone.
Yeah, I mean, probably not, right?
Do you want to have your hotel room brought to the green room? That'd be great.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
That's not fair. I think we are experiencing just a slight tech issues. We're getting things
Look at this.
underway.
You have to make sure the PC is working.
Exactly.
Everything is under control.
That is true.
But you know, I
PC
respect
doesn't
that.
work.
You know, I respect that. I'll tell you, as a player, sometimes when you're in these prestigious events, you might feel a little uncomfortable and shy. You know, something is wrong with your PC. You don't really know if that's... Nah, to hell with that. Something is wrong. You feel like something is lagging. Just ask for it. Ask the admins, hey, listen, there's something is wrong here. I'm not going to go and play the first game of my major with the mouse lagging on my screen is flickering or whatever. I can't hear my teammates.
Fair
no,
enough.
none of that. Just ask for it.
If
Be a
it's
diva.
broke, fix it. I think that
Exactly.
is the saying, isn't it? The well-known one. We didn't allude actually to the map video that we saw going down on the screen. Vertigo is going to be going down between Big and Furia. Takes, did you expect it to go a different way, gentlemen?
I didn't think it would be Vertigo,
No,
to be
not
honest. I
really.
didn't really have this map. And I think it's kind of surprising to see how we have a tendency to go to Vertigo now in best of ones, where these used to be the glorious days of Inferno and Mirage, you know, the handshakes and the middle maps. Now Vertigo in best of one, I don't know how I feel about it.
I think that Furia hasn't been playing Vertigo that much lately, but historically, like, it has been a really good map for them. Like, they are very good on the T side. They know how to control the pace of the game. And I think, you know, if Big took a look at on HLTV and saw that, oh, Furia is not playing Vertigo and have been struggling a little bit and stuff, let's just not forget that the main core of this team has been playing Vertigo for a long time. It has been their best map as well for a long